Hello and welcome to a new episode of Dinks with Kinks. Before we get into this episode, I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media at Dinks with Kinks on both Twitter and Instagram. You can get bonus content posted there that we can't show you in an audio podcast, of course. I am one of your hosts, John Dondero, and with me, as always, the very sexy sounding Mr. Shep.
Good evening.
And the very brilliant and also sexy sounding Miss Rebecca.
So you're
Hello.
the head Insta-twit for us then? Yes?
Yeah, I always do.
In our
I always
media?
do the Insta-twits.
Yeah.
I post all the tweets and Instagrams. I posted something the other day. It was nice.
Tweetygram?
It was hot.
Was it?
So what are we doing tonight? What are we talking about? Usually I'm so on top of everything and I know everything that's going on, but I'm a little crisscrossed today.
I was waiting to see which
that's
one.
right. We're talking about cross-dressing. Dude looks like a lady. Have you guys ever cross-dressed before for fun or sexual paralysis? Because, cross-dressing is also very comical. If you want it to be.
I have.
You really duded it up.
I have. I did. I look really good in a suit and tie.
I got some new
Don't kid
visuals.
yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe you need to get a little bit of a beard going. I'd like to see that.
And no, I'm flaccid.
Oh, I paid too much money to get rid of that. All there.
What about you, Mr. Shep?
So I was thinking back of even all these, would you rather's or all these other dare games, and I don't think I have. Yeah.
Guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, you want to go to our Twitter and Instagram because not only have I done cross-dressing, I've got some awesome pictures. I have half cross-dressed. Just throwing that out there. Yeah.
I've seen that one.
I think I make a very
seen that
lovely
one.
lady.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Wasn't
much.
that a Halloween, I think, or something? Or...
It was.
Yeah.
But I also cross-dress for funsies in my spare time when I'm bored and don't have a beard, which is very rare. Usually what I do is in between what I call beard phases, I go ahead, like when I reset my beard.
Do some circus style clothing and do the bearded lady.
You could.
When you're beardy.
But I feel like that just defines the point. So cross-dressing, and let me preface this. This is not transgender by any shape of the means. Transgender is a personality, personal. Like that's who you are as a person. That is your gender. That is not a fetish, nor are you dressing as the opposite sex. You are currently dressing as your sex if you're transgender. Cross-dressing is actually dressing as the opposite gender. You're not trying to portray that gender. You are trying to wear the other person, other gender's clothing. So that's something I wanted to get out right out the bat, is that we're not discussing the transgender fetish or fetishism of that by any means. That is not a fetish. That's just who somebody is. And they are not cross-dressing. They are wearing the clothes that their gender, represents. Cross-dressing is when you wear opposite of your gender purposely. Like I am a man wearing women's clothing, or I am a woman wearing, particularly men's clothing. I am purposely dressing as the opposite sex. So get that right out the bat.
Dressing in the apparel of the opposite gender that you currently identify as.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, exactly
In
that.
all the versions, let's make it nice and pretty.
We should, yeah. Just make it fair, short, and size. Cross-dressing is the act of dressing in the opposite sex's clothes, not trying
And
to...
gaining sexual arousal from it, maybe. Because it is a fetish. In this
It
case.
is. And, yeah, a lot of people do enjoy that. I have, as much as I don't really get, arousal from cross-dressing, I just have fun doing it because it's, you know me, I'm theatrical. I like to be a lady. Yeah.
What?
But I would do this.
Guessed.
I would do this fetish 100%. But that's not the time now. Now we're here to talk about the fetish.
Like a lady.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to be a dom as a lady. That would be fun. Anyway.
It is. I don't know. I'm a sub, so.
No, you're so domineering over John sometimes.
Absolutely. That's why we like it.
But not in the bedroom. Except John and I have never been in the bedroom
just
together,
not in that
so that
sense.
makes it a little
I
awkward.
was wondering, it's like you're in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. We have been in the bedroom together, but not in a sexual pretense. More as we're recording a podcast. Yeah. It's more of a location thing. Location.
That's true. And not an OnlyFans podcast.
No. Anyway, so why, with any fetish, why do you guys think people do this? Like, what do you think people get
to feel
off of this? I mean,
there could be a sense of wanting to, as you say, mix in the fetishes, a transformation. Feel within the skin of the other gender.
That could definitely be one part. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's taboo. It is when I was doing research, a lot of people like to wear women's clothing underneath their normal clothing. So a lot of posts about that, and it was that whole quote unquote naughty. Shouldn't be doing this. It's very taboo, and that part of the arousal of people not knowing around them that they have that on was very arousing to them, and I actually really like that. Like the whole "I've got a secret, I'm wearing ladies' underwear," and it may be a power play. Like if I am a sub, like a male sub, and I want to be degraded and humiliated. There's a thing called sissification, where it's when they turn you into a woman. It's like a transfer, almost equal to the transformation fetish, where you're changing genders, but in the literal sense, you're not changing genders. We're just demasculating you. Like this is a very demasculating thing, and they get off on being demasculated, which kudos for them. They're like, get rid of that toxic masculinity. Let me be a lady. Rebecca, what do you think about that?
I understand the whole, because now I'm not into degradation, but I understand why this, like, people are into it. I get it. I have to admit, I find it sort of difficult to think of cross-dressing as like a fetish, because now in our society, we wear what we want to wear. There's not a very female male binary type thing. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, 100%.
There are some really hot lesbians who dress in men's clothing. Like I
mean, these days you'll even catch yourself seeing the some of those men that actually on their daily lives they're totally heterosexual and all this other stuff, but they're sporting dresses and stuff in their professional life just to show that dresses aren't a gender thing.
Yeah.
No.
So.
And
I get it. I understand, and I can understand, like, as a female wearing a power suit, like I'm like, making that cross-dressing play in a suit, like being that power play. I can get behind that, and I can get behind, like, I got a dude wearing a dress. I know when I'm in a short skirt, I mean, feeling that. So
I've got leg for days. Just throwing it out there. No, I think you're right. We're hitting into a point where Cross-dressing is not a taboo event anymore. We have non-binaries. We have the transgender world. So it's not even one of those things you can really do acceptable as far as comedy either, unless it's for the sake.
If our progression continues, if poor cross-dressing becomes nothing anymore because everybody's doing it.
Yeah, like, do you think this is one of those fetishes that might die out?
I feel like
as
it'll
we go?
I feel like it'll go the way of oral or anal. You know how like we talked about it, and oral was taboo. Oral sex, you know, not so far back was a big taboo thing. You know, if you weren't doing it missionary style, like there were some states who had laws.
Still the legal position in this state, yes.
Yeah, like there are laws
Missionary.
that missionary is it, or you could get arrested, and now nobody thinks about
like,
giving a
what are you
blowjob
going
or
Yeah.
Yeah.
any of that. So I think that cross dressing is going to probably go is very much very close to that, where it's like, oh, you like to cross dress? Sure, hey, okay, it's just like a thing. Like it's not taboo.
Yeah.
I don't think it's taboo,
And I'm lucky. I also grew up in an environment where no one give a shat what you wear. I could leave my house in a dress, and I live in the South, so I'd probably get some weird looks from passerbys. But if I went to the city, I don't think anyone would look twice at me. I would just be like, oh, okay, that dude's in a dress, cool, whatever, and moving on. So yeah, it might die, but I don't know. Chastity is not a thing anymore, and just recently we talked about it as a fetish, and it's still an ongoing fetish. I think it may stick around, just kind of change, as it were. Maybe so.
Yes, it's almost like and fetishes go, or the evolution of new fetishes. The things that are most brought to life in fetishes is what's fading away in the mainstream.
Absolutely.
Chastity was a big thing, but then it faded away. But then the fetish community keeps it alive.
That's true. It might be one of those things because, we look at cross-dressing, and we're talking about cross-dressing in your everyday life. If I am not known for being the type of person that would do something like that, and that is my fetish, that can still be very taboo, because it is taboo to what people know about me.
but I think that extends to anything. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but absolutely, but I think that's where it's eventually going to go. It's going to be one of those things. To be honest, I don't think any fetish is going to go away anytime soon. Especially in the climate we're living in, there'll always be people who are like, "That's weird and taboo," but really love it on the DL. And I think part of that, or the degrading version of that, I think it'll stick around. Because I think people will get it. We may have less younger people into it. Because typically, doing my research, older gentlemen are typically the ones who really get into the cross-dressing as far as a sexual fetish.
And, for as many styles and fashions there are in the world, so go the variations of cross-dressing.
Yeah. Because cross-dressing is not always... I'm just wearing present day women's clothing. A lot of the times I saw, especially with the sistification stuff, they're wearing like dainty outfits. Like I don't know what's the word for it, but like very, like I'm talking petticoat level girdles and petticoats, and very prim, proper, like as feminine as you could possibly imagine, like as far in that spectrum,
Like
even
it
more
fits
feminine
you
than
into the time of the sexy harlots.
Yeah, like they're leaning much farther into feminine, the feminine side than most feminine women would. Like much more to the extreme, because, like I said, I know some gorgeous women who are very feminine. They would never dress like that because it looks ridiculous. It's just not the time. Like the time period.
they're
So
not
I
doing
think-
it right.
And I wonder, Can we?
Oh no, I really if my lady walked in wearing that, I'd be like, the fuck are you wearing? We're not going to a cotillion.
Did you say cotillion?
Oh, I said cotillion.
First off, it's
In
cotillion.
the 1950s.
Yeah. See,
And
there we
don't
Did I say
knock
it wrong?
it. Don't knock it till you try it.
Okay. I'm not going to argue. Listen. Hey, listen. I literally know so little of that. I'm not going to argue. I'm just like, nope, stepping out. I'm like, no. I'm wrong. I'll assume I'm wrong.
I was a debutante.
I can see it.
Yeah.
100% you being a debutante. But yeah, no, I think this fetish will always be around.
Well,
100%.
And we could probably go through the discussion of how this fetish might or might not relate in any way to the drag lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do believe drag, that's a whole different ball game right there. And if you know any drag performers, which I do, if you call them a cross-dresser, they'll belt you.
Yeah, no, I know somebody who is a pageant winning drag queen and fabulous, but you do not call them a crossdresser because they are not a
See, and that's
crossdresser.
Not
why
at all.
I thought it was wise to bring up that comparison into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, very,
care of this.
very, very smart.
You know, I do
Because
what
you
I
are
can.
right.
You're so brilliant.
No.
Brilliant, Shep. But you are right. As far as like,
Shut up, baby. I know it.
yeah, drag queens and kings, because I know some drag kings, and they look just as awesome. Mm-hmm. They're not cross dressers. That's a whole different level. That's like saying, I like bondage. Oh, so you like to be completely mummified? No, those are two different things.
But maybe.
I was like, yeah, they share some common aspects of I'm wearing the opposite gender's clothing, but it's apples to oranges
No,
of
that would be my
why
answer
the
to somebody.
purposes.
So if you like bondage, you must like full mummifications. No, but maybe.
Yeah, but maybe. I would do a drag show in a heartbeat, but again, that's not cross dressing. Cross dressing is literally, and it's usually not full. A lot of times, it just deals with the unmentionables, the underwears, the heels, the lingerie aspects of it, and so people like to wear it like that. I mean, I don't think it's. Sadly, it's not that uncommon for men to be like, oh, I like to wear women's underwear. We see it all the time in media. Mm-hmm. Where somebody will make a joke like, "Oh, he likes to wear women's underwear."
They can be
Who
comfy
cares?
as shit. They're silky smooth.
They
Whatever.
are.
They are silky smooth, but I'm gonna say I will keep my boxers over thongs because I have worn a thong, and oh no, I don't see how any lady does that.
Yeah.
I don't see how anybody wears a thong.
Yeah.
Just throwing that
I
out
had
there.
to have that experience as well for my tattooing sessions and such.
So you heard it here first. Shep wears a thong. It's cool. It's cool.
For my tattoo sessions,
Cool.
yes.
Cool.
So now
Yeah,
I can
cool,
have an
cool.
award-winning ass with all this ink and prettiness.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, so I kind of dig it. I like it. I like this. This kink is one of those kinks I can fully get behind, as long as it's respectful.
Another misconception we should eliminate. This is not a fetish that involves dressing in clothing with crosses.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. You don't have to wear a cross with this. No nun outfits, because you could. I've actually seen cross-dressing nuns, so you could. You really could. You could go that route.
Well, that makes me so interested in the missionary.
Naughty nun dudes. I'd be down for that. Naughty nun dudes.
I'm not knocking missionary. Missionary can be
That's
fun.
my kind of missionary style.
It's just saying. And we
Especially if you just
Yeah.
support the hips. Just
I mean, we often knock missionary and it's like, oh,
We do.
But mission-
We do knock
I have
missionary.
never knocked missionary. Missionary's where it's at.
yeah,
I do a lot of
yes.
knocking on missionary in
It
missionary.
is very underrated.
Yeah. It is.
Yes.
Somebody is
But,
under.
no.
Yes, this is true.
Absolutely. So this is, I think this fetish is also, is very often misconstrued though as transphobia or, and I actually really strongly against that. Because like I said, here on Dinks with Kinks, we don't support any transphobia. We don't support any type of phobia, especially one against our, loving LGBT community. So, but I think a lot of this does stem because when I was doing research and I was reading stuff, typically because it's older gentlemen, I think these are people who probably were trans and never felt comfortable making that transition because either the family they grew up in, the era they grew up in, and it was so much harder. And I'm almost there now. Coming out as trans, even in this day and age, you have to be brave. That takes an unspeakable amount of bravery because you can face so much negativity. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people don't have that bravery. A lot of people don't, and they keep it in the bedroom. And usually that's the safest place for people is in the bedroom because it's private to themselves, and then they can really feel like who they are. So I'm going to give it to them. As long as you're not fetishizing transgender, if you're a cross-dresser and if this is the reason, go for it. You're not hurting anyone, and you're just being who you want to be in your private self. And I hate that you couldn't come out or felt, that you had to be brave in the first place, because I don't feel like you should have to be brave. I don't feel like we should live in a world where you have to be brave. You should just be able to go, I'm trans, and everyone goes, hell
perfect
yeah.
World.
But we don't. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a perfect world. We don't live there. Not yet. We're working towards that. So I think, but I think this is maybe where a lot of older gentlemen have.
Honestly, I can see that, and I'm about halfway behind that. But I feel like there's another part of that if you're going with the older gentleman, because up until recently, women weren't valued as equals. Even up until so it is it's not necessarily that they want to be a girl, but it's that part of that degradation where you are put on women's clothing because women were considered less than, and women were considered not as important. So that's why it's sissification. It's taking the woman aspect, and that's as a degrading part, because up until about even 10 years ago, we weren't considered equals. We were considered less than. So that's this sexual turn on.
And
it is horrible.
It's
it is
also horrible.
And
but I see that. The minute
so
you said
it's
that,
not necessarily because I don't want our people who are into cross-dressing to think it's like, oh, well, you obviously just weren't brave enough to come out as trans, because that's not necessarily the case. It's a taking the aspect of that, the degradation part of it, and that being considered as a burly man being degraded to a feminine woman obviously makes you less than a person. And that's where I feel like that appeal comes into.
Or maybe not even less as a person, just weaker, more submissive.
Yeah,
because like I said,
this is what our episode is, cross-dressing, so don't.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, we're supportive all around, but I feel like I think that's for me, 100%. That's where that's what I think of when I think of cross-dressing.
That's your. I'm gonna be honest. I don't disagree with you. I think that is a great school of thought. And again, I want to say both mine and Rebecca's opinions are in fact opinions, and we might be wrong, and it might be different for everyone. So, you always can let us know why you do
absolutely.
What you do. We'd
please,
love to hear from
I would
our audience.
Love to know. I'm like, tell me more.
Yes, 100%. We only have a week to do a lot of research, and especially with a fetish as large as this, or any fetish that we do is large. We're never going to see the full picture of why. We can only make the assumptions based on what we've seen and what we've experienced in our lives. And we don't experience everything. We're not that cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty cool, but I
And
really
with,
don't get
with
out that often.
quarantine, we all we have is porn. So come, please straighten us out.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, contact us. Get us that, that's why at the beginning of the episode I was like, hey, those social media things, if we're wrong, correct us. Tell us we're wrong.
Absolutely
I've never
not.
been offended by someone saying, hey, you're wrong, let me tell you why. And then, because then I
Yes.
learned something.
Johnny likes to be corrected. Correct him, good
I do.
ladies. Yes.
Correct me. Ladies or gentlemen.
Oh,
Or
my.
gentlemen wanting to be ladies or ladies wanting to be gentlemen. I'm down for all of it. That said, I think we're at that point where we're going to talk about, would you do this? Like, would this be something you would partake in for yourself or your partner? We'll start with Miss Rebecca today. Let's get your hot
Yes, I
take
would.
on, would you do this?
Also, your measurements, so we could imagine the cross-dressing properly. And I mean,
I need to know, are you a
Three-piece, I like
three-piece
the
or a
best.
two-piece suit?
oh,
Okay.
wow.
And we're going to go 2
I
and
like
3
this the
again
best. I mean,
on
what?
your buttons. 2 buttons or 3 button coat?
Three
That's where it's at.
with
That's where
the
the
bottom
money's
button.
at,
But
right
in this episode.
because that's the way to wear it. Exactly.
That's how you do it. Yeah. If I wear a 2 button, I never button. That's the rule I have. If I'm wearing a 3 button, bottom unbuttoned. If I'm wearing a 2 button, unbuttoned. No, because if I'm wearing a 2 button, I'm doing a casual suit.
We're digressing.
This is not like we are.
Shep, help,
Let's,
Shep, help.
it's Shepard's fault. Shep did this.
How?
Shep did this. It was his fault. He wanted to know measurements.
No.
Yeah, it's his fault. I'm blaming him.
Yes,
So would you do this?
I would.
I mean, can you tell how the level of analytical she has on it? So yes, she did.
Now my question is like, what if your partner wanted to do it? Like, you're.
I don't have any problem with cross dressing. I mean, I don't see the appeal of underwear, but I mean, again, to each his own. I know.
Well, I feel that's just a personal preference. Yeah. Sometimes underwear's great. You get to take it off. Yeah, like I said, I'm not excited to go down and just see a bunch of already unwrapped presents at Christmas.
Yeah, but the
Gotta
expensive
unwrap those
ones are
babies
out on
myself.
display.
No, I still like to tear in some wrapping paper.
Yeah, and I'm quite used to usually half of my boxers not being mine as soon as I yeah.
So
They get stolen because they're so comfortable, so I can understand moving easily.
I haven't worn men's boxers in forever. I've missed that.
they're comfy.
Thanks.
God.
Thank you.
Yeah. They'll be used and you won't want to wear them. You'll want to
I
burn
was like-
them. At least mine. It's been a long time since I bought underwear.
Oh,
I need to go underwear shopping. That's what I'm trying to say. Shep, what about you? Would you do this fetish?
What? How did we get here?
I'm still kind of.
I know,
My brain
I'm
kinda
like-
hurts from that last.
Is it walking on
let's
its
just
own?
glide by it. Come on now.
I'm kind of. I feel like my foot got stuck in it. I can't pull away. Right.
Just, dude, kick it to the corner and hope it isn't crawl any farther than you kick it.
It's moving. Oh god. Oh god. It's growing sentience. We're dead. And that's how
So, Shep,
humanity
if-
was lost.
Would you put on a lovely sundress for sexual gratification, or be okay if your partner wanted to put on a 3-piece suit for sexual gratification?
I would be okay with a partner. I mean, I could never do it because I just don't have the curves now. I'm not a big kilt,
That's all
though.
right. Ah,
Kilts are sexy.
samesies.
So I'm only the black utility kilts.
All kilts.
So yeah.
All kilts.
All kilts. Oh,
All kilts.
I love my black utility kilt.
The thing. So, John,
All right.
you?
Well, we do have a new show. Oh, 100% would do. Yes. 100%. Listen, well, I'll do this right now.
Sorry.
See, look what you did. This is your.
I'm about to go shave my beard off, lady it up, and get my freak on. 100% on board
Yay.
for this. Because like I said, I think this is one of those fetishes. It could be a lot of fun. It's just it depending on how you take it, I would 100% go into this being a ton of fun. So I'm on
It depends
board.
on how John takes it. You've heard it here.
That's right. And I'll let you take it a lot of ways.
See?
But you know what I do better than take it? Give it, and it's time to spin the wheel.
Yeah, just take my phone away. Why don't you? Yeah, just.
So let's spin the wheel and see what we're talking about next week. I'm kind of excited.
Anything not pressing, please. Because I'm excited. It's just. I need a break. I need a break.
The audience loves when I'm excited because I'm never excited.
They like it better when
And
I'm
here
excited.
we go. Oh, guys,
The world likes it better.
I
when
feel
you're
like
excited.
I don't want to tell you what we're doing next week.
Oh,
I kind of
no.
want to keep you in suspense. Yeah, it's very suspenseful what we're talking about
No,
next
it's
week.
too early. That's too soon. It's okay. It
We're
happens
talking
to a
about
lot of
suspension.
people.
Exactly. It was
What?
it was Captain Obvious. As
I
soon
know,
as
it
you
came
used
too
the flame
soon.
puns. Oh my god.
Listen,
That
the
was a come too
audience
soon
may
obvious answer there.
listen.
Probably
I
got
can
it on your face, too.
I can
Jeez.
premature
You're
pun
right.
anytime I want. Okay, it's 2021. Don't pun shame.
Let me go get you a towel.
No pun shaming. Oh, that should
Or
be a
let me
shirt.
get you a towel. That's what I was thinking.
Or let me get you a towel. That's what's on the back of the pun. shame.
Suspension.
Let me get you a towel. So yeah, we're talking about suspension, which is a form of bondage and a form of art.
Well,
And if you really want, it's a form of art.
can we put those two together? Because there is suspension, and then there's the art style, which would be what, shibari?
No.
Or no, suspension.
Yeah.
roleplay,
Aren't there
that would
two
be
different
different,
kinds? Like one.
Yeah. No, suspension. Yeah, there's suspension and then there's skin suspension.
Oh.
We will be discussing both.
Okay.
Okay.
So break out your meat hooks, break out your rope because we're getting into some weird
your
shit
navel
next
knot
week, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Some great people that do the hooks. Yeah.
Oh yes, your naval knot guy, because you're going to need to know how to suspend some stuff up. We're going to tell you every way possible, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, again, follow us on the social media at Dinks with Kinks. Check out our Patreon. We got a cool Patreon where you can get early access to stuff and bonus videos and all kinds of cool stuff. So check it out. We have a merch store. It's in the link down below. Go buy you a shirt. Cool shirts. We got shirts, masks.
My favorite's the no
all kinds
kink
of stuff.
shaming sweatshirt I have.
in there.
I do.
Yes, you love that
Thanks.
sweatshirt, and you look awesome in it. And you could too if you check out the merch store. So give it a listen.
I did
am
travel
one
in
of
that
your hosts,
sweatshirt
John
through
Dondero.
the airport. I did. It's a very.
Yeah, you
it's
did.
very much.
Yeah,
I had no
and
kink
you
shaming.
got
Lots
zero
of
kink
conversation
shaming.
pieces. It was a conversation piece.
And that being our lovely Miss Rebecca,
Hi.
Indeed.
and our pun shaming other host, Shepard.
Did he
Pun
just
shamer.
say pun shaming?
Yeah, I did. I called you out. You have been called out.
Because, well, I mean, last I checked, people enjoyed mine while we actually, you know.
Pun shaming. You see him pun shaming me right now. Say goodbye, Shep.
No, it was called quality control, not.
Okay.
I want my pun shame shirt.